So here is Uncoupling Reimagined, my book, and I'm going to be sharing in this video some of what you can find over there. So to start with, it's a somatic practical path, and there are many tools to support you through this splitting up, separation, divorce, breakup, whatever you want to call, or if you want to just transform it straight up into an uncoupling, how you can do this. And the reason why I do it this way is because when I was going through my uncouplings, I did not have it figured out. And when I went through my first 3 uncouplings, there wasn't even an conscious uncoupling being spoken of, let alone a book about it. And I had to figure out by myself. Not really. I was very well guided, but I didn't know this then. My ancestors and my guides and the divine, and I just didn't know I was being guided, and it wasn't so clear to me that I had a method. But 7 wonderful long-term relationships down the line, and 7 successful, wonderful uncoupling processes down the line, where my former lover and myself found ourselves being a better version of us, ready to engage into whatever future held for us, including new relationships, without lingering and holding resentfulness and grudges or bypassing and numbing things. Now I can look back now and say, wow, I'm so grateful I went through it. Obviously, when I was going through it, I wasn't like, oh, yeah, I'm going through all this pain and tears so that I can share a book later. In other words, you are welcome. Yeah. So there's a free workbook in my website. The link is below. It's basically iman.coach. You will find on the menu on top Uncoupling Workbook. Just download it and it's yours, and is pretty comprehensive. And then the book. So in the book, it's very much about trauma. I realized this uncoupling thing came to me when I was doing my somatic experiencing training, and I studied uncoupling there, which we use for trauma resolution in several ways, like let's say car accident, for example. And I was like, this is what I've been doing. This is it. Uncoupling from my lovers have been just like this. Uncoupling have been taught here. I love storytelling. I love having a myth that makes things so much simpler, taking it a little out of the academic so that it's easier to integrate in my heart space. And I love the descent and rise of Inanna, the goddess of the Sumerian. I'm brought in this mystical goddess descent ascent, even though my book is gender neutral. Anyone uncoupling from any gender is pretty much LGBTQ oriented. One, because I'm a queer, and when I was going through my uncouplings, I didn't find anyone out there who had written something that doesn't make me feel ostracized from everyone else's. Like, this is heteronormative's breakup and this is queer's breakup. I wanted it to be something that supports everyone wherever they're at. It's enough to feel a breakup. Now you don't have to feel that this is done separated from the whole world as well, if that makes any sense. So back in here, I brought in this sacred feminine myth alongside with trauma work. And it's not to say that everyone going through a breakup is royally traumatized, or that sacred feminine is only for female bodies, but it's to say sacred feminine is within all of us humans. And in my opinion, all of us have stress cycles that haven't been completed in our bodies. And that's basically trauma. In this context, I'm oversimplifying things because the idea here is to support people, not to lecture them. I start the book with this chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but it's not like you have to follow it linear this way. It's more like each chapter addresses one thing, and each one of us, when we're going through our separations, we will need to refer to each of them differently, right? So this order is by no means a linear step one, two, three. But yes, in chapter one, I address something borrowed from the internal family system, which is that concept that we are parts, and it makes so much easier to go through a separation knowing that it's not only one part. It's so much of responsibility to be one part. And let's say you just been married for 10 years and you have a child, and now you're like, I hate my former partner. And now you're like, oh my God, I'm a terrible parent of my child. I wasn't nice enough to this person. Or the other way around, vilify, well, I can say this word, make them into villain by making myself into the victim. Oh, look at them. They should have done this or this for me, right? And instead, it's about within my system, all the parts, there's a part of me that hates them. There's a part of me that is a better parent when I'm single. There's a part of me that's a better parent when I'm together. There's a part of me that still misses them so much. There's a part of me that's relieved I got rid of them. And then in the practical things in life, it's like there's a part of me that was really accustomed of having all my bills split. And now I'm gonna have to take care of it by myself. There's a part of me that is a gold digger. There's a part of me that is a murderer. There's a part of me that is a saint, a Mother Mary. And it's just so much easier to break this down. It worked for us in school, for example. We learned things in biology and chemistry and physics that in life they're one thing, but we learn them in segmented fields so that it's easier for us to assimilate and to deal with. And the same thing with our psyche, those parts. And then letting go of sentimental tokens, how to do that clearing, what is important to retain, what we have to let go, how to clear the space, how to make it into a ritual, embodied rituals, if so resonates with you. And then about reclaiming the spaces, social spaces, home environment, in-laws, shared relatives, and so forth. How to go about with this, recognizing nervous system patterns, making it into a physio neurobiological approach more than legal and social, all encompassing, however, and reclaiming responsibility, meaning finding the ability to respond to things in power and break free from this hero, victim, perpetrator drama triangle that we find ourselves when going through uncoupling, breakups. And then, of course, I'm a sex coach. My brand's name is Sex and Integrity. So, if Iman is writing a book, it's going to have a lot of self pleasure and sex involved. So, obviously. So, that's a part of the book where I invite, well, if I want to put it here in words, is, oh, Iman, are you teaching me how to masturbate my way into a better version of myself post breakup and get over heartbreak or avoid it altogether? Yeah, but let's use different words for it. So it's about bringing pleasure as a reclamation and self-belonging, devotion, reconnecting with eros, bringing back their life force, completing stress cycles through self-pleasure, sovereignty, and even for manifestation, changing brain frequencies and opening portals towards the future version of yourself. And talking about future versions of yourself, the next chapter is about creating a new identity and reimagine who you are now after this former lover, exploring archetypes, finding ways to daydream your future desires and embodying your current desires with no guilt, and embodying your becoming, like time bending, like literally leaping forward without leaving any part behind, without bypassing yourself. And then we get to notice what's up when you want to reach out for those moments of relapse, of those moments of uncertainty, when you haven't reached the new place and you are not sure yet if you're totally done with the former place and you're just like, and I like to call it moving from, because I come from a yoga background, like to move from warrior to warrior three, or warrior one to warrior two. In other words, it's like when you're going through this balancing positions that requires core strength. If you just go too fast on where you're going, you lose your balance. And if you still wanting to be comfortable, you would just go back and have your posture closer to the position it was before. It's really about that moment of transition that you aren't yet what you perceive for yourself, and you're still lingering in the back, and now you're reaching out to check their social medias, and you still want to call them back, and you still seeing that anniversary coming up, and you're not sure what you're going to do with those dates, with the essential dates. And yeah, so that's a chapter to really support you there, because in my experience, when these moments came about, I wasn't really in maximum clarity, ready to make those choices myself. So it was very needed to have someone who literally tells me, Iman, do this, don't do that. And I was very grateful for the friends that showed up in each one of those processes, that they would be like, you will not call them now. I would be like, okay, that message does not mean what you're making it mean. So sleep on it before you reply. Things like that. But a little bit less dramatic, a little more nervous system. I bring it in this chapter guidance, especially if you're still sharing a company together, finances, parenting, or if you're still going through the uncoupling and things are not so clear and you're still building those boundaries. And then finally, I reach the part of radical acceptance and integration. And I think it's a more spiritual approach, because if it was me who wrote the book, it's going to end up being that. So it's that more spiritual approach, how this breakup is a place of radical acceptance, of changing your visions, your purpose, or identifying your purpose and letting your body speak, and really completing impulses, seeing the fractal effect, the holographic effect of life, and revisiting forgiveness, and really re-signifying a lot of core values in our lives. It's all invitations, not instructions like the previous chapter. So this is really holding space for that transformation to be shaped in as per where you are at. And then we get into grief, and grief is an alchemy. Grief is a gift of a rupture that allows us to really seek and get right through our essence and embody it. So honoring loss as a transformation, breath, sound, and embodied presence as portals to wholeness. Yeah, in a nutshell, it's, hey, I have a breakup now, and my heart is ready to expand. So let's gently dance this contraction into an expansion. And let's make this ebb and flow something that will propel me to the greatest version of myself. And let Iman guide me through it. So I really hope you enjoy the book. I would really appreciate reviews across any platform, wherever you bought the book, or even if you want to write me an email and you want me to use it for as a case study or something. Is so supportive. For us as smaller creators, it's not so easy to get the visibility, to get our wisdom and tools across to people who really need it. It takes a lot of money to be visible out there in marketing and ads, and I kind of need to pay rent and live. So I really appreciate support. These tools, this is all done with so much of responsibility. I pay very expensive courses. I study. I am a devoted student, and I speak in authenticity to experiences that I lived as I did. If you have been following my channel, if you have attended any of my events, I'm quite sure you know what I'm saying here. If you haven't yet, please tag along, follow with. If you know someone going through a breakup that needs support, please share the love with them. And that's it for now. Thank you.